You saw the title right. Yes, Bill Gates really recommended a romantic comedy novel, The Rosie Project. He even gave the book to 50 friends, and I actually read it. But why would one of the world's most logical and practical minds fall in love with a rom-com? That's what I wanted to find out. I didn't just skim this book, I read it cover to cover, and why Bill Gates thought it was worth recommending. As someone who shares book reviews regularly, I wanted to bring you not just the story, but the deeper insights behind this unusual pick. And unlike most summaries online, this video isn't just about retelling the plot. I'll break down the charm of this novel, what makes it different, and why even Bill Gates thinks it's worth your time. So here is how I found out about this book. I was browsing Gates Notes, Bill Gates' website, looking for some fresh non-fiction recommendations. Honestly, I expected books on business, science, or productivity. But then one post grabbed my attention. It was titled The Novel I Give to 50 Friends. And to my surprise, it wasn't non-fiction at all. It was a romantic comedy. That instantly made me curious. Why would Bill Gates, one of the most logical, practical thinkers in the world, gift a rom-com to 50 people? That's exactly what made me pick the book, The Rosie Project. Now let's talk about the story outline without any spoilers. The Rosie Project is written by Graham Simpson. It follows Don Tillman, a 39-year-old brilliant genetics professor who is socially awkward and struggles with basic interactions. He has a big problem. He hasn't found his life partner yet, and he doesn't really know how to behave appropriately in social or dating situations. To solve this partner problem, he designs the Wife Project, a 16-page questionnaire to find the perfect partner. His idea is to filter out drinkers, smokers, vegans, late arrivals, and many more traits he considers incompatible. Logical, right? But then Rosie walks in, and suddenly none of Don's carefully designed rules apply. Rosie is carefree and spontaneous, the exact opposite of what Don was looking for. He immediately disqualifies her as a potential wife, but finds himself drawn to her anyway. Soon he gets involved in solving her problem, finding her biological father. Together they begin the Father Project. From there, the story unfolds with plenty of romantic comedy moments between Don, Rosie, and his two close friends. But the real questions are, will Don succeed in the Wife Project? Or will he change his mind and accept Rosie as his true match? And will Rosie and Don succeed in discovering her biological father? That's what this charming novel is all about. What makes this book shine is the contrast. Don is rigid, disciplined, and rational to a fault. Rosie is spontaneous, unpredictable, and messy. Their worlds collide in hilarious, awkward, and heartwarming ways. It's technically a love story, but it feels fresh. More like watching two puzzle pieces that shouldn't fit somehow click together. So why did Bill Gates recommended the Rosie Project so highly? It actually started with Melinda. She picked up the book and loved it so much that she kept stopping to read passages out loud to Bill Gates. Curious, he began reading it himself one Saturday night at 11 p.m. and ended up staying awake till 3 in the morning to finish it. That's how much it hooked him. Bill Gates said that anyone who gets a little too logical would identify with Don, the socially awkward genetics professor who approaches life like an equation. Melinda even joked that Bill Gates would appreciate the parts where Don is obsessed with optimizing his schedule. And she was right. What struck Bill Gates the most was how extraordinarily clever, funny, and moving the book was. To him, it wasn't just a romantic comedy, it was a story about being comfortable with who you are and realizing that people we think of as different really aren't so different at all. That's why Bill Gates and Melinda both loved it enough to share it widely, and he even called it one of the most profound novels he had read in a long time. In fact, he liked it so much that he ended up giving the Rosie Project to at least 50 of his friends. My reading experience. For me, the funniest part was seeing the world through Don's eyes. Something as simple as planning a dinner or going on a date becomes an experiment filled with rules, protocols, and unintended comedy. I found myself laughing out loud but also pausing to think, because underneath the humor, it really captures how awkward and vulnerable we all are when it comes to love. What I loved most was how it celebrates imperfections, reminding us that relationships aren't about finding someone perfect, but about finding someone who fits you. So, is the Rosie Project worth reading? If you want a smart, funny, and surprisingly moving take on love, and you are curious about why Bill Gates himself swears by it, then yes, It's absolutely worth picking up. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to like this video, share it with a friend who loves books, and subscribe for more reviews like this one. And tell me in the comments, do you usually trust book recommendations from surprising sources like Bill Gates, or do you stick to your favorite genres? I'll see you in another video. Bye!